Hello, and many thanks for looking back in at the channel, and I'm really happy to be up at the test layout table up in the loft. It's been a few weeks since I've done something up here, so I'm excited to show you today this Hornby Dublo train set. Now, we did take a quick look at it a few weeks ago when we were choosing another set to run, and I'm hoping to get this up and running today in the video. Now, quickly, here's a brochure. We did take a quick peek at this, but we'll look at it again. EDG17, and there's the little N2 tank and the set of wagons, and hopefully, if I can get the camera down here, there we have it, 99 shillings and sixpence in 1955. So that's what we're going to be taking a look at, so let me get that out the way. What have I got? So I've got the A3 controller ready to run this set. Now I've got the track that I used a few videos ago because it's quite reliable and clean, so I don't think I'm going to take the actual track out of this set. So let's see if I can just gently lift the lid and just get it into a more favourable position. Look at the really nice photo on the front, not faded at all. So I think there's a Silver King and a Duchess of Montrose and the N2 tank and a young person enjoying operating these items. Well, let's take a quick look in the box. So remove that piece of protective cardboard, whether that's original or not I don't know, and there are the items. Now, if you saw the video when I introduced this set, there was an uncoupling ramp and a level crossing straight included, so I'm going to put those in the oval I build today so we can perhaps try and use the uncoupler. So we've got some really nice rolling stock. Now I'll get those out shortly, but this is what I need to show you first, the little N2. So can I get it out? I thought that I would try and recondition this with you today. So this is out of long-term storage. Let me just put these items back. Paperwork wise, we've just got the normal Hornby Dublo instruction leaflet, if I can open that, general setup and operating instructions for the track, and there is a section in here on locomotive chassis, oiling, the usual purple guarantee slip, which is great to see, and then this was the instructions that must have come with the uncoupling rail. So some quite nice paperwork. So I'm going to push that to the side, and let's have another quick look at this loco. Excuse me, I'll just upset something on the floor there. And it really is quite a lovely item. The high gloss finish. So that really excellent Hornby made in England Meccano Limited decal on the back, and someone did mention this imperfection just near my thumb. Was it Mazak rot? I don't think so. I just think it's a casting imperfection. The whole body seems really nice. So I'm going to just off camera very carefully take the retaining screw out, which is in the front of this loco. Don't want to scratch the smoke box door. Lift the body off, and then we'll come back and I'll walk you through what I do to this chassis, just to see whether it needs very much recommissioning or not. So let me get the tripod and we'll take a look at the actual motor in this loco. Okay, well, let me just see if I can centralise this in the camera. I hope you can see that I've just selected a little matte example here, which I know runs, so I'm just going to put some power on. And look at that, that's going nicely in each direction, isn't it? I thought it would be a good idea to try and sort of just test the set item, just to see whether it runs straight out the box. I mean, I very much doubt it. They don't usually, but let's just get that on. A bit fiddly. I'm messing about a bit, aren't I? Well, I don't know why that rear truck won't go on. Oh, I have got the body shell a bit loose, but never mind. Look at this. No, and it's not even shorting out the power unit. So I'm just going to put the other one back on again. Just double check. Yeah, that's gone on nicely. Yeah. Okay. Well, it's definitely a non-runner, isn't it? So let's move these out the way. Now, I'd like to try and do this without pausing the video too much, so could be a bit of arch fumbling, but let's see how I go. So I've already very carefully taken this screw out of the front of the loco, which threads in to this coupler through the centre of that little brass bit. That's how the body's held on. So if I very carefully lift up, and there is the body. And in fact, I'm just going to get my cotton glove, and we'll perhaps just take a look inside the body shell, if I can just slip it on. So I hope the camera is deciding to look at this. It's difficult for me to see what the camera's doing, but it's really very clean in there, isn't it? Let me turn this around. And I think it says type E, EDG17, and the body shell's really nice, isn't it? And I don't think there's any. Well, I don't know. There could be some Mazak rot actually. This is a little bit disturbing. Let me just see if I can show you just inside the body there. There's some other bubbles. Difficult to see. Oh dear. Well, I mean, this item is extremely old. I don't think there's anything to be done if there is a little bit of rot, and that is what's pushing this paint. I think possibly the person who commented the other day could be right. That's a bit of a shame, but well, patina, natural aging, we all suffer from it, don't we? If any of you have knowledge about stabilising anything like that, I'd be interested to hear. Let's take a quick look at the chassis. Well, looks nice, doesn't it? Red mark there. Let's do a little rudimentary magnet test, because I haven't got my magnetizer up here at the moment. Yeah, it's quite strong. Look, that screwdriver's, it's not the strongest, but it's certainly good enough to run. Commutator doesn't look too bad. We've got a flat capacitor suppressor there, all nicely attached. Okay, well, I think it's time now to try and start stripping this down. Now, I wonder whether I can just get a little bit closer with the camera so I don't have to pick it up all the time. Let's see if I pop that there. My equipment is all quite old, but hopefully you'll be able to see quite a good picture there. Right, I'm going to take my glove off now, so I'm just going to move the mounting screw. First thing I want to do is get the brushes out. Always a good idea to have a receptacle. So we've got a little bung here, and just going to try and pull that. So hopefully, I know my fingers are getting, that's really, oh, excuse me, should stop eating Kit Kats just before videos, shouldn't I? Of course that's stuck, and as this has not been rehearsed or anything, that's going to, oh yeah, that's really tight. So out she comes, that's the bung, and there's the spring. Now the brush is, as normal, a little bit reluctant. Now I normally have a very thin piece of wire to remove these, and I don't see it. So let's just persevere. I'm just going to gently see whether it'll ease back from the commutator and give it a little tap. Oh, dropped straight out. So there we have a really quite nice looking brush. Seen some wear, should be a bit longer than that. Spring and retainer. Okay, now the first thing I'm going to do before we do anything is the end of the brush that touches the commutator. I'm just going to give it 2 strokes along this, because it usually wears a little cone, and I'm going to flatten it so it's totally flat again. And the end I've just done, I mean, I've just made that end totally flat. Right, I realise this is not great. I'll try and show you on the next one. So will this come out easily? Oh, this is all super stiff. Now I've got to be very careful about taking any wires off. So hopefully I'm just going to gently pull that out. This wire, this green wire that connects to this brush cap, is extremely stiff. Okay. Move that out the way, gentle tap, and there's, oh, well, look at that, great success. We've got the, if I put the loco there, the brush has fallen out, and the spring. So let me see whether I can show you more or less in shot. There's my emery board. I just look for the end that's slightly curved, and then give it a couple of strokes down, just to keep it flat, and then it will bed in again once we get it running. Okay, well that's it's got quite a burn in it. That could have been arcing. If the brush is getting stuck in the tube, you can get to a point where you get an arc just before it stops running. Right, that's freshened that up, that's looking good. So we've got everything out. Okay, this is how I clean the brush tubes. So I've got a cotton bud, and I just take some of the material off of this, because you can't shove it up when it's full of material, and then just gently insert it into the brush holder and go right backwards and forwards a few times, not putting anything in there, just cleaning it. Don't want the brushes to stick, you see. So that's, see, look at that coming out of there, it's gone a little bit dark. Do the same with the other one. So those brush tubes are now clean. Now, got to be mindful of the windings, but this is a super soft paintbrush, and I just give that a little bit of a, just to remove any loose carbon. Now we're going to get to the point that you might disagree with me about, but when we get to the commutator, use a little glass fibre brush and very gently just stroke without going too mad, and the armature is revolving as I do it, and then I grip the wheels to stop it, and I'm just going to give it the most gentle clean without going anywhere near the tab that the windings are soldered to. You can see already that hopefully you can see anyway, that that's come up quite nicely. I can tell the armature is quite free. Now what I'm going to do is just move the wheel backwards and forwards. Well, that's super free, look at that. Hopefully that's in shot. You can see the armature is actually revolving, and that's strange because it's a worm gear, so it's quite free. Doesn't usually do that. I mean, that's a sign of a loco that's perhaps had a little bit of use. So what I need to do now is just clean out with a very fine point. between the segments. So I do hope that I'm keeping most of this so you can see it. As I say, I don't want to keep stopping and starting the video because I want you to just get an idea of this in real time. So I'm just going to just gently put this sharp point to make sure there's no carbon wedged between the segments. So that's one. And there's 3 of these because it's 3-pole. So we've done that one. There's the next one. And then one more. Commutator's looking pretty good. I think if I was wanting to totally take it apart and restore it, I'd obviously clean it a bit better, but that's going to be good enough to run it. Now I'm going to oil it right at the end. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try and put the brushes in on camera. So one brush into the hole, doesn't matter which, I don't suppose. That's actually the brush that came out of the positive side. So a spring, and then the bung. That is quite tight, it's nice, it's gone in well. And I'm going to do the same again, just identify the end of the brush that I cleaned. Poking these in is a bit fiddly, but I think we're doing it. I hope you can still see what I'm trying to show you. Right, that's gone in now. Normally there's bearings top and bottom of the armature. You can adjust that if there's a lot of lift, but rocking the wheels, I can see the armature's hardly moving. You do want a little bit of clearance top and bottom. There are balls in there, just for the lubricant to move around. Okay, well, I think that will probably go quite nicely now. So I guess I ought to try and move some of my rubbish and find my little piece of test track. So just going to lift that hopefully into shot. Let's have a look. Right. So here is our lovely little chassis. Just get that on. Now I haven't cleaned the wheels and I haven't oiled it, but I think now hopefully we'll get some movement. So look, power. Oh, that is away straight away. Look at that. Very nice. So I think we've probably got just a little bit of sticky with the brushes. I mean, if you want, you can put a little bit of, I do have some here actually. Keep it in one of these squirty things. A little bit of alcohol, which you can put onto the cotton bud. But I only tend to use that if I need to. But look, that's going to, let's see. On the slowest setting, that's moving absolutely beautifully. So all I need to do with that now is probably give the wheels a little bit of a clean and a small amount of oil on all the bearings. Now, one thing I was going to show you, when we introduced this loco a few weeks ago, I said that it had been lubricated and there was a bit of a mess around the pins on the driving rod. So I am going to just get my cotton bud here. Now that's a dirty end, but I think this is unused. I'm going to soak that just off camera in a little bit of alcohol and then just see whether the pins will clean up. And you can see the dirt coming off. Just clean that old oil that's gone black and nasty off those, and then I'll re-oil them with some fresh oil. But there's not much else needs doing with that chassis. I mean, if you were going to be running this every day, it would want stripping down and a full overhaul, remagnetising, but as this is just a bit of fun and it will probably go back into storage for a long time again, I just want to get it going nicely and protect it for the future, so I don't want to take it apart unless it's necessary. So I'm going to put a little bit of oil now off camera, fit the body shell, pop the track back together, and we'll see how it pulls those wagons. Okay, well, workbench is all tidied up, and this is the fun bit, the bit I look forward to. I've set up the oval. The N2's there with its wonderful arrangement of wagons, and I'm just going to put a little bit of power in, and as you can hear, it's away straight away. And what a lovely runner this particular model is. I'm just going to turn the controller down to the minimum available, and the little loco's just going around absolutely beautifully. And it will go even better when those brushes bed in, but let's give it a little bit more power. Some great noises from the metal wheels on the tin plate track. Okay, well, I'm just going to bring it to a halt at the back of the oval. A bit sudden, because when I just work on the controller, it's either on and then it just, as soon as you move to the off section, it's off. Right, let's try it in reverse. Just moving away. Got a little bit more control in reverse. It's pushing those tin plate wagons round nicely though, isn't it? Well, I've got a couple of appointments in the workshop, so I mustn't get too distracted having fun with this set, but I think I'm going to play with the uncoupling ramp now. So let's just see whether, if I put the uncoupling ramp up, anything happens. Oh yes, look at that. So I'm just going to stop the loco there. I'm going to put the ramp down. You can see a little daub of yellow paint there to show it's up. So put it down. And I'm going to see whether I can grab this by the guards van. So coming into shot any second. I'm switching it on and off to try and get a slow speed. No, I don't think that's engaged. Might have gone in now. Let's take a look. These Hornby Dublo couplings can be a little bit temperamental. After all the years of being in and out of the box, they could be slightly bent. For these uncoupling ramps to work really well, I've found in the past that quite a bit of time fettling the couplings can be necessary. So I'm just going to stop it there. I wonder, I'm going to place that in the upward position and just ease the loco over the ramp and see whether I can release it from the guards van. No, it's not disconnecting. So one of those couplings, let's see if I can show you the couplings moving as they go over the raise. Yeah, the one on the loco is moving. Yeah, but the one on the guards van is riding up over the top. So it's just not quite hitting this raise point with this lower section. So fettling required, but manual uncouple. And let's go back and get this again. Gosh, doesn't that run beautifully, that little N2. Shame about the deterioration of the body, but if it's got from 1955 to today, I think hopefully it'll last a bit longer. I really don't want to do anything that disturbs that really lovely paint finish. Okay, have we got coupled? Yeah. Let's see if I can split the train in half in the middle now. So I'm going to drive over the first wagon and see what happens. And indeed, the train is split nicely. So you can have hours of fun with these uncoupling ramps down into the bottom position, and then let's finish off with the train hauling these in reverse, and just listen to the noises this makes. Well, I hope you've enjoyed seeing this lovely Hornby Dublo set come back to life, seeing inside the little M2 loco. Let's just bring it to a stop and then finish the video with it going around in this direction. Well, it's good to be back up in the loft, so next week hopefully we'll perhaps have some running on the main Triang Super 4 base layout. Until then, I'm going to leave you with this Hornby Dublo set, and until the next video, I wish you all well and say goodbye.